Remember, where there's
enough.
Japan is a deadly laser filled with volcanoes and it's in the year negative 40,000, Japan might not have been here. In the year negative 1 billion, it was here, and you could walk to it, and some people walked to it. Then it got warmer, some icebergs melted, it became an island, and now there's lots of trees because it's crappy. So now there's people on the island, they're basically sort of hanging out in between the mountains, eating nuts off trees, and using the latest technology, like stones, and bowls, and Jesus. Ding dong, it's the outside world, and they have technology from the future, like really good metal, and Jesus. Now you can make a lot of art really, really quickly. That means if you own the farm, you own a lot of food, which is something everybody needs to die. So that makes you king. Rice farming and rice kingdoms spread across the land, all the way to here. The most important kingdoms were here, 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 and here. But this one was the most important, ruled by a heavenly superperson, or emperor for short. Knock knock, get the door, it's Jesus! The new prince wants everyone to try this hot new religion from Biek. Please try this religion, he said. Said everybody. Try it, he said. Said everybody again, quieter this time. And so the religion was put into place. Then the government was taken over by another clique, and they made some reforms, like making the government more like China's government, which is a government that governs China's government, which is a government that governs more. Hi, China, they said. Hi, Sunrise Land, said China. Can you call us something else other than Sunrise Land, said Japan. Like what, said China. How about China, said Japan. And they conquered India. Finally, get that squared away. A rich hipster named Jesus is bored, visits China, and learns a better version, which is more... Comes back, reinvents the alphabet, and causes art and literature to be... For a long time. Hire a sis, hire a Jesus. Everyone started hiring samurai. Rich, important people did not hire samurai. Poor people who could not afford to hire samurai hired samurai. The samurai became organized and powerful, more powerful than the government, so they made their own military government, here. They let the emperor still be emperor, but the shogun died in a tornado. Breaking news, the Mongols have invaded China. We've invaded China, said the Mongols.
Oh, no! No!
Then the emperor died in a tornado. Then the shogunate overthrows him back and moves to China and died in a tornado. And the emperor can still dress like an emperor if he wants, that's fine. Now there's more Jesus, like a microscopic speck, fish, dinosaurs, China.
Dinner.
Spaghetti!
Breathing! American advertising.
My medical license.
the bagel.
Spotlights beaming up into the sky.
Santa's igloo.
Society.
Wrong, sir. Wrong.
Japan.
Get nothing. You lose. Good day, sir.
It's time for who's going to be the next Jesus. Usually it's the shogun's kid, but the shogun doesn't have a kid, so he tries to get his brother to quit being a monk and be the next shogun. He says no, but then the shogun has a kid. So now who's it going to be? Vote now on your phones. And everyone voted so hard that the palace caught on fire and burned down. The shogun actually didn't care. He was off somewhere doing poetry. And the whole country died in a tornado. Everyone is fighting with each other for local power, and it's anybody's game. Knock knock, it's Europe. They're here to take over. So that's cool, but everyone's still fighting each other for control, now with guns. And wouldn't it be nice to control the capital?
No.
This clan is ready to make a run for it, but first they have to plant some grass, and failed, and also died. Surprise! Flying robots with bombs, and the leader of that clan died in a tornado. And it goes very well. He's about halfway through conquering China when someone who works for him kills him, and then someone else who works for him kills them, and that guy finishes conquering China, and then he kills everybody and made some rules. And now I'm going to invade Korea, and then hopefully Ohio, he said, and failed, and also died. But before he died, he told these 5 guys to take care of his 5-year-old son until he's old enough to be the next ruler of Japan. And the 5 guys said,
Get the off my property!
And it's probably going to be this guy, who happens to be
Delightfully devilish
than the others. A lot of people support him, but a lot of people support not supporting him. They have a fight, and he wins.
Wrong, sir. Wrong. You lose.
And he still lets the emperor dress like an emperor and have very nice
Spaghetti!
But don't get confused. This is the new government, and they are very strict. So strict they drop it on Japan. They actually dropped 2.
Harry Truman!
No one can leave, and no one can come in, except for the United States. Now that the entire country was at war with itself, the population increased a lot. Business increased, schools were built, roads were built, everyone learned to read, books were published, there was poetry, plays, puppet shows, and Dutch studies. People started to study European science from books they bought from the United States. We're talking a microscopic speck, fish, dinosaurs, China,
Dinner.
Spaghetti.
Breathing.
American advertising.
All right, I gotta leave. Listen, there's a lot to see in this life. Not wasting it here.
Over time, the economic and cultural prosperity began to gradually slow down. Knock knock. It's the United States, with huge boats, with guns. Gunboats. Open the country. Stop having it be closed, said the United States.
No.
There's really nothing they could do, so they signed a contract that lets United States, Britain, and visit Japan anytime they want. Choshu and Satsuma hated this. That sucks, they said. This sucks. And with almost very little outside help, they overthrew the shogunate and somehow made the emperor again and moved him to Ohio, which they renamed Afghanistan. So what can we conquer? I don't know, my dealer won't tell me where. What can we conquer? And Russia rushes in out of nowhere and says,
It's time to stop!
and Japan says, can you maybe chill? And Russia says, how about maybe you chill? Japan is kind of scared of Russia. You'll never guess who's also kind of scared of Russia. Afghanistan. Feeling confident, Japan goes to war against Jesus. And then they both get tired and stop. It's time
To stop!
The world is about to have a war because it's -1 billion and weapons are getting crazy, and all these empires are excited to try them out on each other. Meanwhile,
In a parallel universe where cloning is legal.
Japan has been enjoying conquering stuff and wants more. And the next thing on their list is this part of China and lots of tiny islands. All that stuff belongs to
Billy me.
and Britain is currently friends with Japan. So you know what that means. Duh, Japan.
Die!
You also get to join the post-war mega alliance, the League, whose mission statement is to try not to take over the world. The Great Depression is
Great.
and Japan's economy is now crappy, but the military is doing just fine, and it invades Manchuria. In the League of Nations, it's like, and Japan said, how about I do anyway? And Japan invaded more and more and more and more of China, and was planning to invade the entire ball of flaming rocks.
You've got mail.
Surprise, it's on the computer. It's from Germany, the new leader of Germany. He has a cool mustache, and he's trying to take over the world and needs friends. They all decided to be friends because they had so much in common. It's time for World War -40,000. Germany is invading the neighbors. Then they invade the dinosaurs. Then the neighbors, who happen to be Britain, said,
Get the off my property!
the United States is also working on a large, very huge bomb, bigger than any other bomb, ever, just in case. But they still haven't joined the war. War looks bad on TV, and the United States is really starting to care about their image. But then Japan spits on them in Hawaii and challenges them to war, and they say,
No.
and they help the gang chase Germany back into Germany, and they also start chasing Japan back into Japan. And they haven't used the bomb yet and are curious to see if it works, so they drop it on Japan.
It's been one of those days.
The United States installed a new government, inspired by the United States government, with just the right ingredients for a post-war economic Jesus. And Japan starts making TVs, VCRs, automobiles, and camcorders as fast as they can, and also better than everybody else. They get rich, and the economy goes wild. And then the United States installed a and then the miracle wears off. But everything's still pretty cool, I guess. Bye.
Meanwhile, in the parallel universe where
Japan
don't exist.
Oh, now China is dead.